G'day everyone, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome. This is Tom's Brook Farm and I'm JH. So this morning Henry is going to go and do the first knock on our one of the paddocks that's going into canola. So I'm heading out here to go and steal Bill from George so I can get back from the paddock, because I'll be taking the shepherd down to the paddock for him. And while we're out here, we'll go and see how George is going with the smudging. He was up early this morning and it looks like he's on his 45s at the moment. So we'll go and have a look and see how that's all getting incorporated. So he's had a good run at it. He's done his straights and then he's done his 45s, and he's nearly finished the first lot of 45s. So after this he'll be doing his, the next 45-degree angle. I think I'm about to get run over here. You can see it's doing a job. Still left with these big ones, but you can see as he comes past, it is still doing a job. Not as good a job as we'd like. Normally by the time you've done your first 45, you're instead of having big ones like this, normally you're down to like this size or even smaller. So it's not ideal, but it is still doing the job. It's getting it down smaller and it is smudging it across to the areas that haven't been done yet. So there's that at least. And yeah, once he does his other 45, he'll then go back to the piece over there that we left yesterday, and he'll go and finish that one off. So I'll go steal Bill and leave him at it. Right, I've got Bill up here. So now, once Henry's finished spraying, finished brewing up, I'll go and grab the shepherd and chuck, I think I need to chuck a thing of ester on the back, and then come down here and drop it next to the Freightliner just there. Whilst I'm down here, Henry's going to spray the paddock over there. It's called SEC, and he was going to do the outside lap of this paddock here with the chemical he's got on, because it's a pretty hot brew, and at the time when they were doing their walk around with the agronomist out here, it wasn't growing anything. So I'm just going to go for a bit of a look through here and see if it's worth us spraying this paddock as well. It's definitely worth spraying the outside lap. So this weed here is called marshmallow, and it is a very hard weed to kill, and it also, if I can get it out, has the world's biggest taproot on it. The canola, this is going to canola, and canola is obviously a broadleaf, and that weed is a broadleaf. So you can't kill it once you got it in crop, you need to kill it now. And the other thing is, this thing is very hard to kill once it gets past about 6 to 7 leaf. You can see there's a few more leaves on there than that. When it's 6 or 7 leaf, the plant's only about that big, so it's quite hard to spot them. And then you go for a drive a little bit later and you've got these giant plants that have come up. This one looks like this because it obviously got chopped with the header at harvest time, so it's reshot and gone sideways. So we'll go for a bit of a look out here and see if it's worth Henry doing this whole paddock. Henry's boom spray is 48.8 meters or 60 feet, 160 feet. So right here where I'm standing is how far the boom will reach. So anything past here that's green would just obviously keep growing. So I think it's definitely going to be worth Henry coming out here and spraying after that rain that we had on the weekend at 20 mils. You can see we've got all the, it's all germinating. We've got greenery coming up. And I can also see there's some stuff above the stubble line over there. So yeah, Henry will spray this paddock as well. And I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see, but you can see the paddock has got a slight tinge of green to it. So it's definitely worth Henry coming out here and spraying this. What I got to throw on, we got about 110 litre Enviro somewhere in the shed there of Hasten. I need to chuck that on. I need to chuck Esther on. That one there's got only a little bit in, so it's not enough. We've got a fresh one that I'll chuck on the back here. And then I'll also chuck on all his hoses that he needs. Then I'll get this down to the paddock. The shepherd is down here all ready to roll for Henry. Now a few of you might be wondering the story or name behind the shepherd. So there's the sticker, and this will give you a bit of dad's sense of humour. So we've gone through three chemical trucks. We used to get really old ones, so they used to do us pretty quickly. So the first one was called Rainbow Warrior, the second one was called the Minky, and then this one is called the Sea Shepherd. And if anyone's wondering the connection, those are the Greenpeace ships. My next job, I'm going to need the slasher, so I've got to get Manny out the way to get to that. I've just got to go and slash a little bit of wheat that was left standing. We had a bit of radish in this section. It was just too green to harvest. The terminators on the header just couldn't take it. They were getting blocked. So yeah, there'd be less than a hectare. Probably only half a hectare. I've got to go and do and just cut and just trim it down, otherwise we won't be able to get the seeder through it. So here we are, there's really not that much. But I'll slash it down and get it all so we can get the air seeder through it. Still reckon the seeder might lock up in this little section going through here, but at least it'll be cut down and we won't have it growing to deal with. Bit hard to see because the weeds aren't green anymore, but this was all greenery just here and all through it. And it was just too much for the seed terminators. They just couldn't process the green. It was just blocking the screens. So that's why the guys decided to just harvest around it. It's only a small little area, so it's not too bad. Didn't lose much from it. And that's all done. I think it'll definitely block the air seeder when they come through, but at least it's not standing. Best sort of thing that I can do for it. But anyway, on to the next job. Right, we'll go out and see how George is going with those the last 45-degree angle, and yeah, just see what sort of job it's done. Fly the drone up so you guys can see it from the air, and yeah, we'll go do that, and then yeah, we'll find something else to do. he's getting there. He's about halfway through, and then he'll be done. Only about another hour, and then he'll go back over there to where we left off. I thought I'd come over here because in that drone footage you can still see that there is quite a bit of sand that is up here, and it's just due to the fact that it is a bit moist and it hasn't been able to break up the clay as much. Yeah, it is a bit of a pain that this has happened, but that's just, you know, we've got to deal with what we've got. But it has done a very good job basically everywhere else. Yeah, it was only sort of around the pines here, and you can see there is a bit more sand poking through than what we'd like. But at least there is clay here. Hopefully we still should be able to get a crop. And you guys might be wondering, why the pines? Why are we growing pines? So this was the first area that started to blow back, I don't know when, a fair few years now. And our first solution was to just put in some ridges with the old grader that we had, tow behind grader. So we put in some ridges just to try and stop and slow down the sand blow. And then when that didn't work, we bought some pine trees and we chucked some pines in here, and yeah, they work very well. They grow on the sand. We haven't got any plans for harvesting these or anything like that. But yeah, what happens after that is the wind then just blows and blows around the pines, and then slowly it just grows. The sand just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, to a point where it was just completely unproductive. You guys would have seen back on the that video where we were spreading the clay and I showed you the yield maps. Yeah, so at least with this clay out here now, we yeah, we'll be able to grow something, which will be fantastic, because something is better than nothing. Henry's come up to come in to brew up, so he's busy doing that. He's probably not going to have enough water in that truck, so when he finishes brewing up, I'll go grab the truck and just put a you know, maybe 12,000 litres of water in it, just so he's got enough to finish off the paddocks that he's doing. And while I'm down here, I'm just going out to the back of Rasheen, to where we actually clayed and spaded last year. It was a bit of a mess up. We had the spader come in and we seeded straight into it, and unfortunately we sunk it a bit too deep, so yeah, we didn't really get much growing on it in terms of barley, but we got a lot of weeds. And come harvest time, we sort of just lifted over it and just didn't harvest it. So I'm going down there just to check that out, and I was in the slasher this morning and that's what reminded me about it. So we'll go see how bad it is and if we're going to have to slash it before we come and get an air seeder into there. So this is where we clayed and spayed last year. So we got about 5 hectares in total here, and some of it did grow barley. A lot of it just grew weeds. So we might need to come down with the slasher and just give it a bit of a haircut, because otherwise it's going to cause a hell of a lot of issues for us trying to get the seeder through this. Yeah, George is going to have some fun on the slasher, I reckon. Should keep him pretty busy, but it's a job that we need to do. So we'll get that done once he's finished with the smudging. Henry doesn't need a lot of water, so all I'm going to do is fill up the back 3 tanks. No point in me filling up all 6 of them, just to lug the water back that way, and it'll make it a little bit quicker for me to get it back down there for him. The not so fun part about this truck is that these taps wear out, and this tap here, even though it's off, is actually on, and you can tell that by the fact that all that water is dripping out there. and when I go to disconnect that and put the hose on, there's going to be a lot of water coming out. So it should be spectacular for you guys to watch. The other bonus is I'm missing the rubber seal for the 4-inch, the female connector just there. So when I get this off, I've then got to pull it out of there and put it under there and then chuck her on. So this could be quite entertaining. Not too bad, at least I didn't get wet. I really need to find a new tap. All back, ready for Henry to spray his next tank out. While I'm here, I reckon I might put the drone up and yeah, see a bit of Henry spraying. My next job, George is in need of some fuel, so we'll get the fuel trailer out there to him, fill him up and have a look at how that smudging is going. I always get that wrong, but yeah, we'll have a look at how it's going on the other section there. So we're here to fuel up. You can turn your tractor off, George, and I'll tell you, something's broken. My fix has unfixed itself.
Okay.
Look, it's going around the world. like I said, when we repaired that, I thought we'd need to do a new plate because the plate's buggered, but yeah. There we go, got us new. Rough operator, that's how it happened. George just reminded me that it's the third time he's done that double back. Yeah, we'll just need to replace the actual steel that it's on. The steel is, yeah, that steel's obviously all weak and whatnot. But like what I mentioned when I fixed this, I didn't want to do a strut, you know, between here and the plate for this very reason. At least it breaks off and there's no damage. If we had the strut on there, it might have lasted a bit longer, but if it got caught underneath that wheel, it would, you know, it'd cause damage. Well, he is all fueled and ready to roll. He's in a bit of a dodgy area, so I can't really go and show you guys what it's doing because it's in a bit of a stubbly area, so it's hard to tell. But from all reports from George, it's doing a good job. So it's good that we left. We went over and did the other piece, got that done, and then now we're back here and doing this piece, and it's doing a good job. So I'm happy with that because I was a bit annoyed that it wasn't doing the job we wanted it to yesterday, but at least it's doing the job today. The last job for me before I finish this video is I need to wash the ute and give it a vacuum and a bit of a clean. I pick my ute up tomorrow afternoon. Fingers crossed, hopefully it's ready. It should be. But yeah, no, I'll give this thing a bit of a clean, vacuum, and get it all ready for George again. Well, the Triton is nice and clean inside and out, and I've just brought Bill out here so that George has got a vehicle to get home tonight. He's over there. He's probably a quarter way through this side. This side's it's a lot bigger of a piece than the other one, so I'm not sure if he'll finish it today or not. He'll give it a red hot crack knowing him. So yeah, anyway guys, that'll be it for the video, and I'll see you in the next one.